This is not for free. This is not for free. Not for free. Okay.
Oh, so okay.
Okay, so this is episode 2.
Número dos.
Abo, right? I really be trying to say something.
So I didn't know. I hope that's it. I'm working on it.
No, I think it is because like
Yeah,
twins in Yoruba is Ibeji.
Yeah. Oh. Ooh. I didn't know that one. Okay.
Look at me. Hey. No. So and twins in Igbo is Ejima. Which translates not. It doesn't even translate to 2 because 2 in Igbo is Abo. Translate.
So
There's no translation. There's no like correlation. That's not translation. Correlation into. Anyway, so this is episode 2 of Not for Free.
Not for free.
Not for free. So first episode we talked about what was that?
Self-esteem.
Or like
the
lack
thereof.
The lack of self-esteem.
Yeah.
Or I mean there is self-esteem. I think you just like rate yourself very low.
Yeah.
So low self-esteem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this one is gonna be about just L's.
About L's.
So many
life.
losses in life, like so many like disappointments, things we should have done properly. Honestly, just disappointments and blow for like life sometimes feels like a revolving fist to the face.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way I can properly describe it. It feels like just as soon as you're trying to like recover from that one blow, another one just base, boom. Just keeps coming at you round the clock. And I think, I think this is a very timely topic.
Yeah, because we're definitely both experiencing a lot of blows right now. It's a lot of different blows. Yeah. And, it's these times where, we always know, like, we need to praise God, we need to be thankful, but it's like in these times sometimes it's just like really hard to like really still look to God and still still try to be positive when life is really just bim bam boos,
boom bim
just,
bim bam boom bam
doing what it does,
bing bing bing.
Life doesn't stop for anyone really, so but it's just talk about the woes of life.
So I think I'm gonna kick it off this time. Honestly, like anybody who knows me, like for the last, I'll say 3 years, to be very honest, 4, for real. But for the last like 3 years, really, life has been just relentless. Like there's a quote I heard on, I think it was like a show or something, and it said, life is a hell of a thing to happen to a person. And it literally is like, just the way life just be doing anyhow, it's honestly like very like a lot sometimes. To like go through. So for the last 3 years, it's just been back to back rubbish. So quick like overview. I moved out of my parents' house 2016. Literally 2 weeks after I moved out. Mind you, when I moved out, it was like, it wasn't necessarily in a bad way, but a little bit because like it kind of came out of something I've been thinking about for a while, but it came out of me and my mom had this argument. And she was just like, whatever, get out of my house. I was just like, all right, bet, I'm gonna get. So I literally went like looking for an apartment, hard body, like searching. So me and my best friend, we found one, and we decided to move out. But right before I moved out, 2 weeks before I moved out, my boss at the time had asked me to go like represent the company or whatever outside of town. So I had been gone for 2 weeks out of town. I went out of town, sent me out of town for business or whatever. So I do all that. I come back. Literally the day I come back, the next day I move out. To the point, I told my parents, like, I told them, like, oh, I'm, moving out. I'm signing my lease, all that one. But I think to them it just sounded like a joke because of the way it was just, quickly happening. Yeah. And so when I was moving out that day, when I came back, the next day, mind you, while I was away at work, I was signing, like, my lease and everything via, like, online. They had sent it to me, like, e-sign. Let me sign it, like, quickly, So when I came back the next day, I was like, I grabbed myself, I packed like a suitcase, like a couple suitcases, and I'm like came down the stairs, and I'm just like rolling it through the living room. My dad was just like, where are you going? Like, what's up? Because it was just like, and it's not even like, he wasn't tripped, he wasn't angry, it wasn't like, where are you going? Regular African. My parents let us travel. Yeah. And that's not even an issue. My dad was just like, oh, you're traveling, where are you going this time kind of thing. And I was just like, to my apartment.
So he wasn't aware of this? Like, only your mom was aware of this? Or
No, both of them. No. Yeah, I told both of them, but they didn't take me seriously. Okay. So, I was just like, my apartment, I don't understand. My dad was just like, what? I said, yeah, like I told you, I'm moving out. Anyway, and I left, and I would come back like more through that day, and then for the next couple of days moving my stuff out. And granted, I didn't have a lot of things to take. It was just like clothes, really. But yeah, so I was moving my stuff out, and my parents were just kind of like, my dad was just like, oh, okay, cool, Yeah. But I think my mom was more upset because like we got into this argument that brought it about. So she was just like, she felt like I was being petty, which I was in a sense, but I was just like, I need to move out anyway. So I'm grown. At the time, I think I was like 24, or I was about to turn 24. Yeah, I was 24. It was, so yeah, I was 24, and she was just like, I was feeling like I'm grown up, whatever, I can move out. So 2 weeks after I move out, I lose my job. It was just a tragic time. It was a tragic time. And I was like crying, like wailing. I was just like, I wasn't even concerned about my parents. I was concerned about myself. Like, you just signed a lease. This literally means like you're obligated every 30 days to pay money. You have no income. Yeah. What is your plan? And so I was literally like crying. I didn't tell my parents for a while. It literally went months.
Without telling them.
When I say months, like I lost my job in November. I told them officially, I think it was like March-ish. Wow. And I kept this month going. Like, I would like, they'll come, my dad would ask me to come visit the house. And I'm like, I'll come to the house, I'll be dressed up like I'm going to work. And I'll stay with them for a little bit. I'm just like, gotta go, gotta head to work, Or I'll come like in the evening, like dressed. Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so tired, just came back from work. And I literally, I kept this month going for so long. And I think one day my dad kind of noticed, like, my schedule was kind of shifty. Yeah. Because it'd be like 10 o'clock in the morning or like 11 when I normally would have been at work. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm with them, and then I'm like, well, I have to head to work now, and I'm only doing a half day, and like. But I was just like, what kind of job? What kind of, like you're working in like a corporate job, but you're coming in at 11. They do rent, like it didn't make sense. Yeah. So I think he kind of like started putting two and two together, and random like in like inconsistency in my schedule. And so he now pulled me aside. He was just like, Chama, are you working? And I was just like, bro, I can't even look you in the face and lie. Yeah. Like, I was just like, yeah, I'm not. Nah, yeah. And he was just like when? I said, oh, months. That job been gone. Like, it's not just, yesterday. Like, no, it's take. Yeah. My dad was just like, he was even like, where he was just like, he didn't even ask like how I lost the job. Or what, he literally was just like, how were you surviving? Yeah. Like, you pay rent. Like, what are you doing? And of course, my dad knows me enough to not like assume that I do like runs
or something.
I'm not a runs girl. He knows I'm not that kind of person. But he was just kind of concerned, like, so how are you doing? Yeah. He was actually more amazed than anything, and I was just like, honestly, when he said that, I was just like, it's wrong. It's because I physically don't understand how that happened, know. But like month to month, God somehow just like provided the money. For a while, I was living off my savings, whatever. But it was that, and then literally like since that moment, it's been just back to back rubbish. If any rubbish you can think of happened to somebody, I mean, literally like all the just rubbish, everything terrible. More so, it's been in like high gear, extreme this past week. Yeah. And I just got back from Nigeria a week ago, and it's been like this like a week and a half now. A week and a half, and it's literally been day after day after day after day after day blow thing. When I'm trying to recover from one thing, the next one, to the point where I'm like a let things roll off your shoulder type of person. But I think like, and I was like that first day. Then the second day I was like, okay, third day. I think by the fourth day I kind of just like broke down. I said, what is it? Like I started crying a little bit. Like I'm actually just tired because a lot of things happened before I even went to Nigeria. And I was even trying to recover from just things. And so I think like what's been very encouraging, if that's the word I want to use, I'm encouraged. The word I want to use is encouraging through this whole thing is that like, I think God himself is intentionally trying to encourage me everywhere I went. Like I'll go to Bible study and the message is just, magically about this and literally trying to encourage me that like all the L's you're taking in life and all the mistakes and all the like pitfalls and all of that is literally building up to something, and which is, I mean, the whole point of what we were like doing this whole channel for, doing this whole thing for, is because like everything is building up to something, and I think a lot of times when like all the L's are happening, you can't even see it. It's like, you know it in theory, that there's like, oh, the expected end, and you know, a good future and a hope, and it's like, okay, where is it? But getting caught up in like the woes of life, you kind of forget like there is something at the end, like there's a purpose, there's a reason why he's doing it. But if there's any L that has been taken, is me. I've taken all the L's, all of them, every single one. Added some to the list and then took those ones too.
Oh, man.
So yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely been a witness to everything that she's been going through, and just a little bit of it. But I mean, it's really been crazy, and you just start to think to yourself like, okay, like God, like how you start to kind of question God a little bit. You're like, okay, how is she really supposed to recover through all of this that's happening back to back to back? But it's just like, even then, that's like when God really wants us to trust him the most, which is just like, oh my goodness, what do you mean? What do you mean? How am I supposed to do that? Like, I'm literally just like on all fours, just like trying to barely survive, but somehow he trusts us enough to actually trust in him. Like, he wants us in that moment to like really, you know, look up to him and just trust him. Yes, like, and even right now, like as I'm talking, like it really is so hard. Like, I feel like I'm having to learn that lesson myself, just with recently moving back from school. I went to UTSA, go Runners.
Don't ever. Okay.
But yeah, so just, you know, coming back from school, and I had this idea of what I thought post-grad life would be like. And I feel like I tried to prepare myself for what it would be like by, like, you know, talking to other people who have already graduated and like trying to hear their side. I'm like, okay, I'm going to prepare myself for this, and, you know, now that I've heard this, I'm going to, you know, use this. I'm going to be like, okay, during this time, I'm actually going to take the time to apply for jobs. I'm going to take the time to set myself up that way. I'm not worried about money things whenever I get back. I'm going to take the time to, you know, do everything I said I wanted to do for the past couple of years. I'm going to make my time useful while I'm during this waiting period, because right now I am like in a gap year trying to still figure out some things for a future career. But yeah, none of that like happened. Like none of that. Like financially, it's just been dry. It's been
disgusting.
A hard rut.
A like, stale life.
Yeah, and even as you hear other people say that, like, yeah, you know, I've had to apply to this many jobs. Like, it's sometimes it just feels like a drought after you graduate. But I was like, me? I will not be in a drought. I will find a job. Hey, Joe, what?
Hey, Joe, what?
Hey, Joe, what? No, I haven't. I'm still, you know, trying to apply for jobs. You know, came back August and it's September. It's not been that long, but, you know, from August to September, that's a long time to not be doing something consistently every day. From me being in school, I had classes, I worked every now and then, to now it's just like I'm surrounded by my family, you know, sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a completely different environment.
Yeah.
So, you know, the first couple of days I was like, you know, and I was very happy for this time because I feel like I had time to reflect on myself and kind of rebuild my relationship with God. So definitely I'm very thankful for the time I've had to like really recollect myself and get to know God and see what purpose he has for me and everything. But not having something to do from day to day is very frustrating, and I don't have the most money. You know, sometimes I can't even do the things that I want to do, you know, honestly, sometimes my gas tank is just on E, so I can't even get certain places. I can't, even if I have free time, you know, go see a friend and generally go to a nice place. Like, I haven't had the finances to do that. So that has really brought me down, because as a 22-year-old, you want the freedom to be able to, you know, go do this and that, or, you know, just live your life without having kids. You know, you want to like live a good life. You want to travel. One of my main things, like, I want to just be able to travel to different places, but I haven't been able to do that. And so it's been very discouraging. You know, there are times I just cry randomly. Sometimes I don't know why I'm crying. Like, I've cried so much that I'm just like, yeah, I don't even know why I'm crying anymore. But I feel like I can't help but feel like even in the midst of all of this, God is one trying to teach me something. Because what I will say is, I should have more money than I do right now. And I believe that it's because, you know, some of my spending habits have not been the best. So I do believe that God is using this time to, one, help me realize how important money is. Not the love of money, but how important money is, and that in this time I need to cultivate good spending habits.
Yeah, better habits.
Yeah, because even if God now grants me $1 million, if that $1 million lands in my hand,
I would do all the rubbish.
Yeah,
let's be serious. Like, let's be serious.
Yeah,
I would do all the rubbish.
It's ridiculous. So I just have to think back. Okay, Maya, well, why don't you have money? Because I'm gonna share something. So, God blessed me with a full ride scholarship while I was in school, meaning that it covered tuition, it covered living expenses, and honestly, it covered more than that. It was a very bountiful, is that a good word?
Yeah, bountiful.
A very bountiful scholarship. So, but throughout college, I was living life as if I didn't have the funds. Like, I complained more about being broke than I did about, actual school. Like, and it's just so crazy because if you don't know how to treat what you have well, or utilize what you have well, then definitely you're gonna end up with nothing. And that's what happened whenever I'm sorry, it's a wig, it's falling. Okay, so that's what ended up happening when I graduated. I literally had nothing to show for the amount of money that was literally just given to me. Like, and that was because I didn't know how to govern it properly. And honestly, I wasn't even giving tithes as much as I should have. I was barely going to church. I will not lie. Like, so I think within all of that, I just heard God telling me, like, Maya, like, I honestly can't even trust you with what I've already given you. So how do you expect me to give you more? So that's when I was like, okay, yeah, Maya, like, what are you doing?
Like,
you need to do better. You need to do better with what you already have. So in this moment, it's been very humbling, and I'm actually very thankful that I've been humbled in this manner. But it was still hard. Like, even as you're trying to, like, learn lessons, it's like you're still going through the storm at the same time. And it's just like, oh my goodness, what the heck is happening? Can everything please just change?
Yeah.
But I'm honestly speechless because I know there's a lesson, but it's still so hard to just be positive sometimes and just be like, things will turn around. But even in all of this, I've been hearing that, like, God still wants me to trust Him and, follow Him despite what's going on. And that's really the hope of being a Christian. Like, He's literally our hope. Like, because life is not going to stop for anybody. Life happens to everyone. Whether you're a believer or an unbeliever, that's what happens. But there is still hope. And yeah, we still need to be able to be like, okay, what am I even supposed to be learning in this season? Because I'm not going through this for no reason. Like we said, it's not for free. I'm not going through this season just for it to pass over and then I'm waiting for my blessing season to come. Like, in this season, what can I learn right now? What can I take the time to be like, okay, now that I'm here, what can I gather?
I mean, I want to say it's honestly more than just, like, what can I learn? I think, and I'm saying this, like, because I've literally said this to myself, and this is what I say to myself to, like, encourage myself.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when Jesus was leaving, right? Okay, so let's go to the beginning. Not the beginning, but I'm saying in the Old Testament, it literally says, like, many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him from them all. Then you just get to the New Testament. You see in, what is that? John.
You said that was where? You said?
That's in the Old Testament.
Okay.
I'm going to pinpoint that.
Yeah.
I'm going to probably write it in there. But yeah. And then you fast forward to New Testament, and you're seeing Jesus. This is right before he leaves. This is John chapter 16. So let's go back a little bit. John chapter 14, 15. Jesus is telling the disciples literally, like, remain in me. I am the, he's like, remain in me. Apart from me, you can do nothing. I am the vine. You are the branches. Aside from me, you can do nothing. Literally, like, he's just going on and on about, like, be in me. And he says, like, you are in my hand and I am in the Father's hand, and nothing can pluck me out of the Father's hand. In turn, nothing can take you out of God's will. Right? Like, nothing can take you out of his hand. He has control. You just got to be in the hand. Right?
You got to be in
the hand. And so, like, then he says all that. Then he goes into, you go to chapter 16, and this is John 16:33. He says, I'm telling you these things because in this life, in this world, you will have troubles of many kind, but be of good cheer because I've overcome the world. Mm-hmm. And so when I hear be of good cheer, I hear like some translations say take heart.
Yeah.
I hear chill.
Yeah.
That's what I literally hear. I hear, in this world you have troubles of many kind, but chill. Yeah. I've overcome the world. Because now it makes sense, because he's literally, right before this, he's telling you, like, remain in me.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're in him and he's telling you that, hey, I've overcome the world, that means you can too.
Yeah.
Like, you can overcome all the rubbish, all the trouble that this world's going to give you.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's going to give you a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So it should be encouraging. He's literally trying to encourage you. He says, be of good cheer. Take heart. Relax. Yeah. Like, it's okay. Like, the world's going to give you trouble. I know. And so the thing is, I think for me, in all the L's and whatever, the L's, the lessons. Anyway, so no. In all of that, like, it honestly, to me, I think it cannot be, of course, this is me reminding myself, it cannot be, like, all the L's can't be a reason for you to doubt God. Yeah. It can't be a reason for you to stray away from God because he told you it would happen.
No, seriously.
You see what I'm saying? If he didn't tell you, if he promised you a peachy life and then troubles came, then you'd be sitting there like, God, what is going on? Yeah. But this one, he actually said it's going to happen. Yeah. He said it.
And
Jesus came
book,
back.
Boy.
That's what I'm saying. Jesus came back and backdoored and literally reiterated the same thing, like, reminding you, hey, you're gonna actually have a lot of problems in this life, especially even as a believer. Problems are gonna come, but you have to understand, like, if he's telling you many of the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him from them all, you can't give up hope and stop trusting God and literally just like try to evacuate yourself from when the afflictions come, because you'll never get to but the Lord delivers him from them all. Like, if you give up in the affliction, then you're never going to get to the deliverance.
And that's what I found myself doing that so many times.
You can.
I did that so many times in the past. Like, so many, as soon as something, and not even, I feel like I've been through easier things. But in that time, because I didn't understand that God literally told us that we were going to go through problems, I was already like, what, God, this is what you're going to allow me to go through. So I was over there in my human mind just like, okay, well, I'm just going to... I feel like at the point I really did renounce, like, being a Christian. Okay, I didn't fully do it, but I definitely was like, well, I don't need to obey you, like...
If you going to do me like that?
I'm actually itching. Oh, my gosh. I'm so sorry. Oh, I'm so sorry.
And so, but that's what I'm saying, like that whole...
Yeah.
You can't get to the other side. And the thing is, you can't be upset at something that he told you would happen. Yeah. You can't. At least you can't cry to him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? This is something my mom always told us. So I remember growing up, like... this is when we were like...
Oh, my leg is breaking. It's breaking. Oh!
No, but I'm saying, I remember when we were growing up in, the back of this part of the couch, right? Yeah. We used to, like, balance. We used to come and try and, like, balance on this thing.
Very good.
We playing on it. Right? We used to be playing on it. Yeah. And my mom would always tell us, like, me and my siblings, like, don't do that. You're going to fall and bust your head. Yeah. Like, literally, so it's like, don't stand on it. You're going to wound yourself. Yeah. And so, we'll wait for her to not be around and we'll just, be doing balancing beam on top, And I remember one day, like, I remember, was it me that fell? One of us fell. I remember that was a hill. I think it was a hole. Like, we actually thought the person was broken. Oh. Like, it was a fall. They fell and everything. So we're crying. So imagine now, like, okay, I do the thing and I fall.
Yeah. Who are you going to?
We actually know. As a child, you do rubbish. You still gotta cry to your mom. So we gotta cry to mommy. And mommy was just like, why are you crying to me? Didn't I tell you what happened? Yeah. Like, you have no ground to say, mommy, comfort me and console me, because she's like, no, you did the thing I told you not to do. Yeah. And now the thing has happened, And I think it's loose in that. It's not saying God told you not to live life, like not to live in this world. Like, you'll live in this world and that's fine. But I'm saying, like, he's telling you that this is what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So you cannot start crying. You can cry, but you can't, like, literally lose trust in him because things didn't go out how you thought they would when he told you it would go another way. Yeah. And the thing is, it's not even about your actual problems. Like, for that very reason, God told you afflictions are gonna come. Okay, they come. It should actually should strengthen your faith. Yeah. Like, it should actually build you up. And that's what makes sense now. It makes sense now when you read in James where it says, consider it, all joy when you face persecution and troubles of many kind. Yeah. Because the testing of your faith produces patience. It produces all these things. And that's why you should be actually excited. You should actually consider it a good thing. Yeah. Because it's producing something. It's not just for free. It's not just, just happening just because. It literally is producing a thing.